I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This time I'll ask for a moment of silence to give thanks, to ask for guidance, or to just quietly relax. Thank you. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Kelly?
Present.
Mr. Jacob?
Here.
Mr. Bartell?
Here.
Mr. Ballmer?
Here.
Mr. Ford? Mrs. Weller?
Here.
Mayor Wilford?
Here. At this time, I'll ask for approval of the minutes from the February 11, 2019 Latrobe City Council meeting. May I have a motion, please?
I move the minutes of the February 11th, 2019 meeting be approved and accepted and be permitted to remain on the secretary's desk where they will be available for reading and inspection to everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Baldner. May I have a second, please?
I second the motion.
Thank you, Mrs. Weller. Any questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. At this time, I'll ask for approval of the fiscal department reports and the paid bills for the month of February 2019. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Skip, do you want to say anything?
No.
This is the citizens' request portion of the meeting. Does anyone want to say anything? Okay. Committee reports. Finance Committee,
Nothing to add there.
Public Works, or Public Safety and Fire?
Likewise.
Okay. Public Works,
Nothing at this time, Madam Mayor.
Personnel? Nothing. We'll have an executive session later. Events?
Nothing at this time.
Okay. And we did our showcase for this year, so.
Yes, and it's April next month, so I need to get in contact with the school board or the superintendent.
Okay. Board and authority reports, anything, Skip?
Nothing new, Matt.
Jerry, anything for Park and Rec?
No, I'm sorry if I got you in trouble, only because we didn't get one in our last month's.
You give no one.
Anything from the library, Eric?
We meet next week.
Revitalization?
Revitalization, yeah, there's a couple of things going on. Scotty G's, the renovation, Scotty G's is on track and should be completed by next month. They're putting in new awnings. They've already done some of the work out front of the building already. They're already working on their wayfinding sign project. There'll be some signs going up in the community over in a couple of months.
What's that?
I'm not sure.
Okay. What's it called, wayfinding?
Wayfinding sign project.
Yeah, I remember. Do you know anything about that, Mike?
Yeah, no, I thought they were talking about at one point, coming up with a new idea of welcome to Latrobe.
Oh, that's
So
right, yeah, that's
that might
right.
be looking.
Also, the vegetable garden is back up and running again for this year. The forms are on the website for anyone who wants to rent an 8 by 20 foot veggie garden. There's two locations, one at the American Legion and one in Frogtown. Also, the strip of lights from the bridge up to Town Hall on Main Street are now back in operation. And then the Western Power switch design has been corrected, so things are uniform. And the two lights in front of Scotty G's and Dollar General, they were ordered and they're planning on arriving sometime tonight. They'll be installed there.
Jocelyn.
Yeah,
It's
we
done.
talked- Yeah, that one's done. That was done last month.
It looks really nice, too. Thank you.
Department reports, Mike?
Just a couple things. One thing is I was just recently made aware of a flood mitigation grant by Gibson Thomas. This is through DCED that it would be funded through. And what this could be used for is for repairs of the previous issues that I was dealing with the U.S. Army Corps Engineer. So this grant would be able to possibly be used to cover the funding for that with only a 15% grant. This
Match. You mean a
for-
15%
yeah,
match?
15% match. Now, there are requirements for this grant, and it has to cost, it has to be more than $50,000, less than $500,000 for the project. So we're checking into it, because the only other option I have is to go through the U.S. Army Corps Engineer for the funding, but that was estimated at a projected cost of $135,207. So we're going to take a look into to this grant to see, if it qualifies, and if so, what we can do about obtaining the grant for the repairs.
That's
that-
great.
That's one thing. The other thing I just wanted to let the residents out there know to call the city public works department to report any potholes, anything on the alleys, the streets, and we'll get to them, on weather permitting, I should say. But we'll be out there. We started today. We're going to start running every street, every alley, trying to take care of the potholes present in those. Another thing is the street sweeping. We started sweeping today. We're going to resume with that for the rest of the year. And that's another thing that's weather dependent. We can't have a sweeper out when it's at or below freezing, just because it uses water to help with the suction process to clean the roads. So as long as the temperatures are above freezing, we're going to have it out from here on out for the rest of the year. And the last thing is an update on the Josephine project. This project stemmed from last year for the repair of the 3 inlet pipes underneath Josephine Street. One of the two parts of the project that were left out from last year were the installation of the trash rack and also digging out the material in front of the pipes and installing the riprap. That project got put on hold last year because of the temperatures and went to the winter time, and then with the rain. It has to be dry in order to complete or finish the rest of the project. So it looks like sometime this month that should be taken care of and completed. That's all I have.
Any update on your truck?
Truck, the only thing I found out here today is that we could probably have the truck by end of September or end of August, September, if we order it today.
Of this year?
Yes. One of the main concerns is, we're on the subject, is I just found out, today, after a preliminary inspection of one of the vehicles, that it's going to be completely out of service. The frame's cracked completely, so it cannot be used again. So, in other words, it's going to limit us on a truck. We're trying to use our reserve truck, our backup truck, but then that truck also has issues. So, it was unfortunate that we found out about this, but during an inspection of the vehicles, the mechanics go over meticulously on the vehicles, and the frame got cracked all the way through, so the truck cannot be used.
I don't know. I think we ought to at least consider a motion to amend the agenda or budget to get that truck in the budget. Not right now, but soon. Before the year's out. I mean,
It's, we're gonna do what we can to try to piece the two trucks together, I should say, by using parts off one truck to make the other one run. But, the problem is there's not much I can do when you have two 19-year-old trucks. They're both in terrible shape. There's only so much I can take off one truck and put on another. The frame, you can't do. To get that frame fixed, you're looking at probably approximately $80,000. If not more. Everything would have to be stripped off the frame. The frame would have to be completely welded. And the downtime with that would take longer.
well, I'm just surprised that I thought that the
I'm surprised we can still get a truck this year.
Well, I just got the email today. Just received the email today, and initially, when I spoke with a couple of manufacturers about obtaining quotes on the price of the truck, it appeared to be about a 9-month lead time for 120 days for the truck, to get the chassis in, and a 6-month for the upfit, or the installation of the hoist, and roll-off accessory. Just got the email today that it's looking at for a truck that's called the Western Star. That's the manufacturer. We would probably have it if we put the order in by the end of August, beginning of September. So, but then again, in the world of truck manufacturing, it all depends supply and demand. Things can change in a matter of no time. How far you are on the list.
What do you think, guys? I mean, I guess we'll talk about it at the March agenda prep and see what else involved in.
I think we need to know what's the amount that we would have to handle this year, and what's the timing for the amount? How soon do we have to make that money available to them?
Well, you don't have to make the money available to them until the truck is ready to be put in service. So we can actually place the order with a commitment to purchase, letter, and upon that truck being completed and ready to be put in service, and that would be when we would have to pay in full or finance, or however we wish to do it.
It costs $40,000.
I don't see where the money is going to help actually.
Rob, can you speak up?
Maybe you have to move that closer.
Okay. There we go. Button works now. I'm not sure we're delaying, another month to make a decision, and it's really going to help me. I'm just, again, not being new to public service. I'm not sure where the finances have to be in line with the commitment and what the timing of that has to be.
Well, I mean, we've spent money outside the budget before when we've had, things come up. But this is something that I think, can be planned for, although we didn't plan for it.
Mike, is this a co-stars?
Correct. Yes, both the chassis.
So we don't have to bid?
Correct.
I guess the next question is, should we bid? In order to see if we can get a better price on the same product.
Mike looked and got a couple different prices, even though it's co-stars, they're all pretty close. As far as the commitment of money, you wouldn't need to commit that until the truck's ready to pick up.
So, I guess the question is, should we amend the agenda to authorize that purchase to be made? Is that the question?
I believe so.
Is there any reason perhaps not to amend the agenda to call a special meeting at the next work session? And by that time, we would have a written proposal or something. Do we have a written proposal from the company?
Yes, I have all that in place.
Something you should be giving the council a look at.
If you're amending the budget, you have to give a time frame to notify the public. Correct?
I wasn't really thinking of amending the budget as much as authorizing the purchase. And then we would look at what vehicle we would need to finance.
You have to give 30 days when you amend the budget.
I was thinking of getting the proposal to council look at. Motion, then at a special meeting, call for the agenda session.
Is 2 weeks going to make that much of a difference?
No.
So we'll just have the March agenda meeting be a special meeting to address that issue. Fair enough?
That sounds good.
Okay.
I lost my agenda.
Do we have to announce the special meeting?
Yeah, well, we have time
Has
to
to
do
be
that.
advertised,
Yeah, it has to be advertised. Anything else, Mike?
No, that would be all.
Chief Leesman?
We met with the school district, the mayor was there, Mr. Jones was there, brainstorming about traffic issues at the new LES. Come up with a few ideas about reducing the speed at certain times on Ligonier and Lincoln. We're considering a stop sign on Lincoln at Cherry. Also, limitations on parking in certain areas. I believe a traffic study has started, right, Mike?
Correct.
So the traffic study has already been started on that, so once we get that data, we'll have better understanding or idea of how we want to proceed with that. Mike's guys have already installed some, signs to notify school ahead. It doesn't necessarily say school zone, it's just the school ahead signs. But other than that, there haven't been any more issues with traffic and parking that I've been made aware of. I think we have a good handle on it right now, but I really need to get the no parking issue resolved on Cedar and Cherry, off of Ligonier.
How long, did Gibson Thomas give us an idea of how long it's going to take them to do their thing?
If they didn't give me a time frame, I can find that out.
I'm just curious.
I know, I just talked to Mark from Gibson Thomas today, and we're gonna be putting the counter strips, so you're gonna see the black strips across Ligonier and Lincoln to do the traffic counts. I would say with an engineering study with that, probably approximately like a week. It's gathering the data is just the essential part. I have to get some data off you for that, traffic accidents and stuff like that. And once they do that, they'll give us an answer.
I had a guy I work with said that they park on Cherry Street above Lincoln Avenue, like on both sides, and it's hard for him because he goes back there and he lives on Daly Avenue and he turns up there. I haven't been up that way at that time.
Not on both sides. On the western side of Lincoln, during drop-off, because folks need to make a right on Cedar. And as traffic backs up on Cedar, while the parents are dropping the kids off, then of course traffic's gonna, back up on Lincoln Avenue. So they're pulling off to the side on Lincoln before they turn right on Cedar.
But he said this was on Cherry Street.
But
above
John,
Lincoln.
remember when we were standing there, we saw that car parked in front of that business that was somebody that worked there, remember that?
Yeah, she was only there for a couple minutes. She went into the State Farm there, I think.
Yeah.
I think what you're referring to is the bottom half of Cherry, right?
No, yeah, the top, above Lincoln.
I haven't been, I didn't hear about that.
No, they park there.
They parked there?
Above Lincoln.
Both sides, though? I see them parking on south side, south side of Cherry.
I'll ask him tomorrow again.
Oh, that's fine. I'll have the guys check it tomorrow morning.
I'm just thinking
Give
if,
everyone
It
everything.
must be in the afternoon, because he says when he's going home from work, it's hard to,
And he says they're parking on both sides of Cherry.
I think so.
Okay.
and then are they walking down or they
I
wait
don't
for the
know.
kid?
I would assume that's what they're doing.
That's the first I've heard of that. But
I'll check with him tomorrow, make sure.
Well, Nunn said Nunn's seen, you've seen it, right?
Yes. They park to drop off and pick up above Lincoln Avenue. It's probably the first block. It's not like the whole way up the street, it's just that one block. And it's just a matter of dropping off and picking up. A lot of parents are trying to avoid going through the main front entrance, dropping their children off, so they park up there and walk them down to come into the back of the school. It's a 15-minute span.
Once that line starts moving, man, it moves.
So,
I was surprised how quickly, it cleared out.
which is why the crossing guards are crossing children on Lincoln at Cherry there, which is why we're considering a crosswalk and stop sign at that location. So there's actually no other stop signs between Cedar and James.
Right.
So pros and cons.
So you'd have Cedar, no, you'd have James, then Cherry, then Cedar.
Correct. Correct. But once we get the information back, we'll have a better understanding of where we
Okay.
want to go.
Thank you. Anything else, Chief?
That's it.
The tinting?
Oh, the window tinting. With the additional door that the mayor recommended, the quote went from $735, I believe, to $905, give or take. But
Which door is that, Chief?
that would be the side entrance door to the police station, the upper door.
The upper door.
The upper door only.
Let me ask you a question. I have a little bit of a concern of tinting the door out here in the front. Not the windows, I'm fine with that. Probably the back door. And the reason I say that is twofold. One, I mentioned last week, if you have a prisoner that goes 8, so to speak, we can't tell what's going on in there. And likewise, the other side of the coin, if you have an officer that goes postal, we're not going to be able to see that. I think it helps for transparency for our police department to have that door not tinted.
Well,
The windows, I can understand that.
sure. To be quite honest, Mr. Kelly, even if there was some situation inside there, we're locked down anyhow. No one can get in without a key.
Well, but we could report something else where we saw something happen. Yeah.
Which door are you talking about?
The
Just the
one inside, not the outside door,
Yeah.
but the front door where it says police.
Yeah.
And then where you go left, that door,
Okay, so it's just the door into the police side.
Correct.
just that door.
Not the
No,
man door entrance. Correct. Just the door that leads from our section into the common area. I would prefer a detail.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
Chief Brazili?
Well, while we're on the school,
While we're on the school.
while we were talking about the school, we had our first incident on Saturday evening, and they had volleyball practice, and one of the coaches, his daughter pulled the pull station, so we go out there and
Wait, what did she do?
she pulled the pull station.
Why? On purpose?
No,
Oh.
she didn't know what it was.
Oh,
Kids tend to see red, nice things on the wall, and they have a habit of grabbing them.
How old is
okay.
she?
I don't even know how old this girl was. I don't know.
Okay.
I think it was one of the, he coached, but he had an older daughter that was playing and a younger daughter, from my
I
understanding.
could see my granddaughter doing that, trust me.
It happens quite often, so, but that gets me to the next point of business where my concern came in. We get out there and I open the Knox box and there is no keys in the Knox box. 3 Knox boxes, one on the playground side, which is the Cherry Street entrance. The Ligonier Street side is right outside the kitchen. There's a Knox box there, and the main entrance on Cedar Street. Well, I get out there and I go to the Cedar Street elevation, and I open a box and there's no keys. So I make my way around, no keys. Finally, one of my assistant chiefs, Jeff Lloyd, says there's somebody here at the gym side, which is on the Ligonier Street side there, where they were coming out. He said he can let us in. When I get in, I got no keys to reset the pull station, I got no keys to reset the alarm system. So I start making phone calls. Finally, we get through to Mike Paremko, which I have his number. Finally, Kirk Thomas comes down in my first. After I was able to find enough keys in my bag of tricks that was close enough where I was able to jiggle to get the pull station reset and the annunciator panel that's right inside the front door. Because you have to put that into an unlocked position, a manual position where you can reset the alarm. Now there is a room with all their phone and their IT equipment in there. Again, I didn't have a key to get in there. So that, I'm there for probably half hour, 40 minutes. And finally, Kirk Thomas shows up, and I kind of wasn't real cordial to him. I said, why do we have empty Knox boxes? I said, this is one of the instances. I said, and the first thing he said to me, well, the contractors didn't turn all the keys over to me, but I'll have keys in there tomorrow. Now, if you don't have keys, how are you going to have keys in there tomorrow? So, but anyhow, I went over there today. I was off today, and I met with Mike Paremko. There are master keys in every one of the Knox boxes now. I can get into the building. I can get into where I need to. There are duct detectors that shut the ventilation system down up in the ceiling. I told him I need keys to those because if that goes into alarm, I have to get a ladder, I have to crawl up there, turn the key, reset it, and then set the alarm panel. I told him, I said, this isn't about me, it's about the safety of your students and your employees. I said, if I can't get in here, I said, I will tell you if we saw smoke, one of those windows were coming out.
Right, yeah.
So we had our first incident, and
Fortunately, it wasn't,
no.
it was what it was, and now,
But
the keys are
again, I'm glad it happened on a non-emergency
right.
situation, because if there was something in there happening, my next step was to call the police force because they have card keys to get in, at least to get us in the building. So,
Okay.
but
Did you ask them to give you one of those key
yeah,
cards?
he's gonna get me one, yeah. I told him I only need one for myself, I don't need one for everybody, I don't need anybody. There's keys in the Knox box, there's Knox box keys on our truck, they can get it. So,
Okay.
but I met with Mike today and we went over, we walked through again, and the master key opens everything we need to get into. So, but we did have a little bit of a snafu, and I was kind of upset there's no keys inside the Knox boxes. That's kind of frustrating when you open the Knox box and there's nothing in there. I can't even gain entry to the building. So, my next thing was to call you guys, John, to get in. So, but that's where we're at, and I mean, it ended up being on a non-emergency situation. So, but lesson learned. Kurt was pretty quiet today.
Anything else, John?
So, that's it.
Thank you.
Maybe he doesn't want to toot his own horn, but Saturday night was the volunteer firefighters testimonial dinner, and it was a nice ceremony. And Chief was received a Years of Service award. Congratulations, 30 years. Is that correct?
35.
35. That's right. So,
Congratulations.
it was a great
Chief.
ceremony.
It was nice to see all you people here that could make it. We, like I said, there was a lot of things going on, and police force was represented. City administration was all represented. So it was a good time. So thank you, though.
Yeah, everything seems to happen on one night.
Yeah, there was a lot going
There was a
on.
lot going on the night.
If I'd have known I didn't have keys, I'd have took Sergeant Rummel with me out there.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Ann's not here. Okay. Brittany. Oh, wait, I just have to, I think some of you know, but Zach's and his wife had a baby boy on Friday, Everett Liam. And so that's why Zach's not here. So we welcome Brittany and Larry Kerr. Brittany.
Okay, so under Administration and Finance, our first item is a resolution item. The resolution is entitled Appointing Member to the Latrobe Zoning Hearing Board. Under this resolution item, Eric Cosby is to be appointed a member of the Latrobe Zoning Hearing Board with the term to terminate on January 31st, 2024.
May I have a motion to adopt the resolution as outlined by the solicitor?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. May I have a second?
A second.
Thank you, Mr. Baldner. Any questions or discussion? Ms. Peton?
Mrs. Weller?
Yes.
Mr. Jenko?
Yes.
Mr. Ballneri?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Martell?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Cosby. Mr. Miller will be happy.
What does that bring us up to, 4?
Yes.
So one.
No, he's staying on.
We have 5, if I'm not wrong. 5 on.
Yeah, oh, was he a reappointment?
He's a reappointment.
Oh, we still need one more. Oh, okay, I see it says reappoint member, but I also misread that in my email. I thought we had an extra volunteer.
No.
I thought he was asking to be reappointed because he quit, but, so we're at 4? We still have 1 more plus an alternate? Okay. Huh? I think we did only have 3.
He quit,
I think it's
and
3.
then he came back on.
Okay, so Eric is coming back.
So he'd be number 4.
Yeah. Now, what are you shaking your head about?
I think there's just 3 including Eric, correct?
3 including Eric.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, 'cause he was reappointed, there's still another vacant, there's an alternate.
Okay, 3 including Eric. Okay.
Wait, I say there's a vacancy and an alternate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, if there's only 1 more vacancy, then there would be 4. We have a 5-member board.
Yeah, I believe there's 2 vacancies plus an alternate, there's actually 3 openings.
Well, it is what it is.
You were on that committee, yeah, 2 vacancies and an alternate, all right.
When I was there were 4 people, when I left, there were 3, and Eric Crosby was one of them.
Okay. Gotcha, okay. Yes, ma'am.
The next item under Administration and Finance is a motion item. It's a motion to authorize the Administration and Finance Department to schedule the destruction of the Administration and Finance records in compliance with the requirements of the State Records Retention Act.
It's a motion, you said?
It's a motion.
Yeah, may I have a motion to adopt the motion as outlined by the solicitor?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mrs. Weller. May I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Jenko. Any questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Moving to Public Works. The next item is a motion item. It's a motion to authorize Gibson Thomas to prepare the bids and all related materials for and advertise the City of Latrobe 2019 hot mix paving project.
May I have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion as outlined by the solicitor.
May I have a second? Thank you, Mr. Bertels. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Janko. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
The next item is a resolution item. The resolution is entitled approving the bid of Schultz Electric to tie poles with Cobra head streetlights into existing meters and install new meters. Under this resolution, we would be adopting or accepting the bid of from the CoStars program from Schultz Electric for the bid of $29,150 for the Cobra streetlight meter project.
May I have a motion to adopt the resolution as outlined by the solicitor?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Janko. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. Questions?
Mrs. Weller?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Jenko?
Yes.
Mr. Martell?
Yes.
Mr. Ballneri?
Yes.
Mayor Wolford?
Yes.
Madam Mayor, I didn't get a chance to ask one question. Is this
Sure.
budgeted or will it affect the budget? And
It should be within the budget as far as capital.
Okay, go ahead. Mhm.
Moving to the police department, the next item is a resolution item. The resolution is entitled Establishing a Handicap Parking Space on East 2nd Avenue. Under this resolution, a handicap parking space will be added to the south side of 2nd Avenue directly in front of 37 East 2nd Avenue. And said handicap parking space shall remain there until the applicant no longer resides.
May I have a motion to adopt the resolution as outlined?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Baldner. May I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Janko. Any questions?
Mr. Ballneri?
Yes.
Mr. Bartels?
Yes.
Mr. Jenko?
Yes.
Mrs. Weller?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mayor Wolford?
Yes.
The next item is a motion item. It's a motion to authorize the police department to purchase and cause for the installation of glass tinting for the front-facing windows in the interior police door of the municipal building.
May I have a motion, please?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Jenko. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Weller. Any question or discussion?
Madam Mayor, I would like to amend that motion to exclude the door leading from the police area into the public area in front, as I discussed earlier.
I need a second on that then, right?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a second to amend the motion to exclude the front door to the police station?
Moving on.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Kelly. So we, back to the original motion. I have a motion and a second. All in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
The next item is a motion item. It's a motion to authorize the purchase of additional memory space and security cameras for the municipal building, front and back entrances at a cost of approximately $2,500.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Bartels. Questions? Is this budgeted?
Yeah.
Let's-
Yes.
I couldn't remember. Yeah. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
The final action is a motion item. It's a motion to authorize the police department to schedule the destruction of police department records in compliance with the requirements of the State Records Retention Act.
May I have a motion, please?
Make the motion, Madam Mayor.
May I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? A motion carries unanimously. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda to have an executive session to discuss matters of personnel.
I'll second, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Bartels. Any, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. We'll adjourn to executive session. We'll be back.
It's a good thing. That guy was inside the building. Karen wasn't here today.
No, she was actually off one thing too.
She might, there's some bug going around.
Yeah, I've heard.
Some stomach bug.
Here's your phone.
Oh,
That's your jacket.
Your jacket's in there too. Yeah.
No. Is it in this mail? Okay, we're back on
the record. I did want to announce that prior to the start of this meeting at 5:30, we had an executive session to discuss personnel matters, and now we're back on the record. Yeah, we're going to get through the rest of the, so next on the agenda is unfinished business. Any unfinished business items? Any new Any new business? Okay. Obviously, any citizens' requests? City managers report.
this time I'm offering my resignation for the city. I've enjoyed working with you all, but it's time for resignation. I'm moving on.
Thank you, Wayne. We appreciate your service to the city.
I make a motion to accept Wayne Jones's resignation effective today and approval of a separation agreement.
May I have a second?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Baldneri. Any questions?
Discussion?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Wayne, we thank you for your service to the city.
No problem.
Thank you. Mayor's report. I don't think I have anything. If there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
May I have a second, please?
I'll second.
All in favor? Okay. Meeting adjourned.